not aware it was such a long process, but it was worth it. It looked awesome, man. It's great.
It's great, right? And you notice it. And then
absolutely.
And he's been, and the first thing he said was, "Bro, I've been watching TV in eco mode this whole time."
Because that's the first change we have to make. The first change,
and turn off the eco mode. Turn off everything that's eco mode, because then it gives you the worst quality possible.
It gives you the worst quality picture. Yeah. So that's why everybody that gets a new TV is like, hey, the first thing we tell them is, hey, turn off the energy saver mode.
I was saving $14 a year in energy though
for a bad quality version.
Welcome. My name is Andre, aka Dre Nice. I'm here with my boy Triple Star. His name is Ansar, and my boy Fiction, aka Tony. What's going on, guys? We are the Tech Aficionados Podcast. We are a group of friends that are casual gamers who know and love tech. The Tech Aficionados Podcast wants to connect and help consumers and gamers alike to have the best experience within the most favorable price ranges. By using this platform, we want to teach and share our knowledge of tech and recommendations based on our honest opinions and reviews of products. Join us on this coast-to-coast collaboration, and we'll plug you into the latest in tech. That's our little mission statement there, guys.
That's some big shoes to fill, Dre. Yeah.
I know. Listen, you got to start somewhere. Triple and I, we've been friends since junior high school or high school. I don't even remember.
Yeah.
But ever since the beginning, we were always into technology. In the beginning, we were into music. We were into video games, and during that time, we used to walk to school together and go to college together, and we used to have our tape players, our disc players, all the way up to our mini disc players, where we would copy each other's music, and it was these little cartridges that we always had that you could record on them and put them into the mini disc player, and you could swap music. It was dope back then, and now technology has changed.
It was digital.
Everything was digital.
Audio.
It was high quality audio. With some trash headsets, yeah.
With some earbuds?
No earbuds. There was some headphones, like, we had like a $500 mini disc player with like headphones from a guy in the train.
99-cent store, for the 99-cent store.
99-cent
store. The original hi-fi.
Yeah.
Low bass, high treble. Yep.
Who made that? The Sony disc. It was a Sony, right?
Sony made it. Yeah. Yep. The mini disc. Well, they had different ones. You had a JVC. I had a JVC player.
How much storage did those mini discs have?
Damn, it was like,
we thought it was a lot, right?
Like 32 megabytes. I don't know. Like it was
like a couple albums. You could put like 2 albums up, or
no.
You could put a lot of songs. You could put like, back then the songs were like low quality, so it wasn't that much data for to transfer into it.
Not 2 albums. I think it was like less than.
Was it?
Maybe it gotta be like 30, 40 minutes worth of music.
So you're saying we had our own personal hit clips? Those little...
Yeah, that's it.
You just gotta remove the duds from the album. Every album had a couple duds in them, some filler.
Yeah, man. Every album.
Straight to the track. No intro, no outro. That's it.
Skip next.
Mm-hmm.
So with that revolution, with that technology, you were able to, I think you were able, on a computer, you were able to rename your files. And you could do it in album order and in song order, the number of the track. So you had his own, you catalog it as you wanted.
Came MP3s after that?
Yeah, after that, MP3 players. And then the original iPod came out, the Apple iPod. I'm trying to think what else came out during that time.
That's when you would keep the computer running all night, downloading. Hoping nobody calls.
On LimeWire. Hoping
nobody calls and cuts off your 56K. Cuts you off mid-download.
Yeah, man. So we've been showing our age right now, bro. We're showing our age. Days. The good old days. We're like 80s babies here, man. So as consumers, me being a consumer, I want the best of the best. And within my price range. So I kind of gravitated towards the cheaper end models, and then I was never satisfied until I get what I want. and especially quality. You want to pay for quality,
especially with my peer pressure now.
Yeah, especially with Triple's peer pressure.
Yeah, we don't start low. We don't start low.
Yeah.
Definitely
So let's face it, we want all the best experiences within our budget, and just like life, we want the best experiences also. So I feel like growing up with the advancement of technology, we are growing up together, and we feel like we have enough knowledge to talk about it and recommend products in pretty much all price ranges.
Life experience matters a lot. You don't have to be a graduate from engineering technology school to like know tech. So
yeah,
life experience and learning as you go, and good old YouTube, you're gonna learn a lot. Yeah, man. We hope you guys learn a lot from us.
That's the whole point of this. So we're trying to give our input and our honest feedback without being bought off. No sponsors. With our own money, we're purchasing all our stuff. So a little backstory about myself, just brief. I went to school for architecture. I graduated from architecture with a degree in architectural technology. I worked for 12 years for JP Morgan as a tech coordinator, certified through Xerox for color correction, pre-production. So I have a pretty much a good understanding on color and calibrating. So this episode, we will be talking about TVs, gaming monitors, and TV calibration. So I guess I will get right into it.
Yeah, I don't like shoots. I can't even compete with his background. Like, I just spend money. This guy just got me spending money on expensive shit, and then as I go,
you too.
I learn as I go. I learn as I go. So I definitely have a love for the technology and the way things went from the beginning to now, and I can go to say I had a Walkman and to an iPhone. So like, I really appreciate these little facts of life.
Yeah, the evolution of tech, bro. We're like babies. Like I feel like within our age, we're seeing the progression of technology, like the aging of technology, because we're aging with it. So we kind of like saw not the early stages of it, but pretty much like the byproducts of all this tech of growing up. So like us, I'm accustomed to knowing all this tech and kind of familiarizing myself, because to me it's the second nature when it comes to technology.
I kind of feel like nowadays you got to know about this stuff, or else you're gonna get left behind. Yeah, or else you're gonna have this is gonna be your inside joke for moving forward. You're gonna have your energy saver mode on for the rest of your life.
Yeah, I'm the guy that had the energy saver mode on the TV for a few months, so I got schooled by the homie right here. Tech guru.
But that's all right. You got to start somewhere, Fix.
Show how a simple change can make such a big difference in just the way you look at your TV. Just by turning that off and burning more of your parents' electricity.
You get a better viewing experience by turning off eco mode.
I was saving the turtles.
By saving the turtles.
Let's get into it. So we're going to start off with the history of television. So I'm not going to go through the whole spectrum of it. I'm just going to bring out years leading up to what we have now. In 1897, the CRT was invented by a German physicist named Carl Ferdinand Braun. 1925, John Logie Baird invented the first working television. 1928, the world's first color transmission was displayed. And then from there on, that was pretty much the standard all the way until 1982. 1982, the first LCD TV was introduced, and which is, I think it was Philips back then. And then in 1992, CRT was phased out, and now we're using LCD, which is liquid crystal display. And then from there, we also had the plasma TV, which came out around the same time. Actually, 1997, the first plasma TV came out, which is by Philips. And then once after that was pretty much the norm. It was between LCD and plasma TVs. And then in 2005, that's when LED came out, which is light emitting display. And Sony released the first LED TV. And then from there, it's been pretty much the standard. Now you have, from there, you breaks down into different subcategories. You have quantum dot, which is Samsung introduced it in 2017. Samsung got to be different, bro. Samsung always got to be different. And then you have OLED, which is kind of like the new normal now, which is like the new standard, which is organic LED. So with which the OLEDs, it introduces no pixel lag, high contrast ratio, and deeper black. So with the OLEDs, which is a lot of the three companies, big three, use OLED now. So you kind of get a more richer look, and you're getting your blacks, the true blacks, and nothing's being backlit in the back of TV. But then you also have other ones, mini LED, micro LED, and those are like kind of like your lower end models. And those are you got to remember, like with the micro LED TVs, which is TCL and Hisense, they're still LCDs, but they're being backlit by LEDs. So that's what we have now. That's like 2019 until now. Pretty much everything is OLEDs and mini OLEDs
and
mini LEDs.
The joke of the day is if you put all those TVs in front of a woman, they wouldn't be able to tell the difference.
Exactly.
And one time I took this girl to like an IMAX movie, and we spent like $40 on each ticket. And I was like blown away. I was watching Transformers. Optimus Prime is like 50 feet tall. We're in an IMAX theater. The sound and everything's going crazy. And then when we leave the theater, she's like, "Oh," she didn't really like. It's like, "Hey, what'd you think?" She was just like, "Oh, it's fine." I'm like, "Fine."
It's
I was like, "It's all right." I'm like, "Yo," I was like, "We're gonna watch a VHS at home."
She wasn't impressed with that $25 price tag on IMAX.
She wasn't impressed. No, she wasn't impressed. And it's all about perception. So what works for some people won't work for the other. You know what? And everybody likes different. What's the word? Like glasses and different styles. So
everyone sees color differently. That's another thing too.
Yeah, everyone sees color different.
Because everyone's perception from the eye is different from somebody else. You could be colorblind. You could have a monochromatic filter in your eye, which you won't see color. It's a lot of many different factors. But a lot of the TVs now, they have those options in there. If you're colorblind, you have the filters which allow you to see the colors. It's crazy. Technology has advanced in so long.
No, but so like for Dre, Dre has to have the Rolls Royce of TVs at all times.
I wish I had the Rolls Royce of TVs.
What is the Rolls Royce of TVs?
Yeah. Right now, it would be the LG G2 and the Sony A95K, but that's like over $3,000. I'm not spending over $3,000 for a TV.
And what's like the Honda Civic of a TV right now?
The Honda Civic would be
a TLC.
Like the Kias. The Honda Civic would be like TCL Hisense. If you want like the Kias of TVs, it would be like Insignia. What else? Westinghouse.
TCL.
TCL is like mid-tier. TCL is like mid-tier.
Yeah, okay. TCL stepping their game up now. They did a contract Call of Duty, and they had like their official Call of Duty TV. I think it was the last Call of Duty that came out. It was a TV. Actually,
where's it now?
Where's the game now? Exactly.
The Vanguard edition.
The Vanguard
edition. The other one was what's the Tesla of TVs right now?
The Teslas of TVs, it would be like I said, the LG G2.
Mm-hmm.
That's like that top premium TV, which is like over $3,000. You have
the most features.
But the most feature has everything. It does everything. Sony A95K is another over $3,000 TV. And the Samsung S95B, I would say, is mid-tier, but that one it's Samsung's new OLED TV. Their technology.
Your price is what? The average
my price would be over $1,000, between $1,000.
55. What's the average? Right now, it's 55 inches?
The average 55-inch TV would be like, I would say $1,000 to $1,300. So 65 and up for premium TV would be $1,800 and up, and anything over 65 would be like over $2,500 and up.
So what about the Walmart Black Friday 85-inch for $599? Would you buy?
I would, because I have two of those in my bedrooms. I have two LGs, the UN 7200 and UN 7300. Those are like $300-400. But for the living room, for the main TV, you gotta have a top contender.
What about you, Fix? Walmart Black Friday fighting for a TV?
Yep. Put that one in the basement. Yeah, in the basement.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I heard things about those kind of TVs.
I got a Hisense Black Friday like 5 years ago for like $500. It's still running. It's running like a champ. I got the old Xbox connected to it. Nothing special. I can see Netflix fine. I keep it simple.
Since we're going to get into calibration, since you have your TV now and calibrated, would you still make that same decision moving forward?
No, I probably would invest in something a little better.
Well, you did though. You do, because you have an LG TV.
I got that one in the living room.
See? One. The premium brand is in the living room.
Next Black Friday, would you ever go run out to go buy one of those bargain TVs?
Probably not.
Probably not.
Nah, I wouldn't mind spending extra few $100s something.
Yeah, it's all about the experience.
Yeah, so like, most people once they go down this road of technology and the quality, they're not going to be so price hungry. Say, oh, it's a 75 for 500. That's a great deal. And when they get home out the box, it's a lemon.
Well, you also got to understand that for Black Friday, they create certain models just for Black Friday. Just to push them out the door. They create all these. Let's say it's a UN 7200 for Black Friday. They'll do 7250. So that 7250 model would be a 250 price tag just for them to push sales.
Just for them to take out one feature.
Yeah,
and they'll manufacture just enough for the projected sales in Black Friday, or they'll keep those.
I think they'll keep those out. They'll keep them in stock. Yeah. But they want to push sales through for Black Friday. So that's just my theory.
Black Friday models.
Yes, pretty much.
What we got next, Trey?
We got the modern television. So we have so now everything, all the technology from back then leads up to the smart TV now. Because back then it was just your regular TV. You just plug in your antenna or your cable, and then you stream your channels, and that's it. Now you have smart TVs where we have apps installed. You have your Netflix, your Disney, your Hulu. You have ESPN, Spotify. You could do pretty much whatever you could do on your phone, web browser, you could do on your TV.
I kind of like the idea and don't like that idea. Like, do I want to be in my... I don't know. It's all about how you utilize your... Because sometimes it's not that you think you're saving time doing everything on the TV, which is taking you... Because it's not user-friendly nowadays. Like, it's to get to the web browser and to log, and then you got to get... Yeah, it's not. It's just save time. You might as well do it on the phone, or you might as well do it on your computer before doing.
Right, before I do it on the phone. But that's why I don't use the apps on the TV. Me personally, I have an LG C1. Triple has an LG C1, and Fiction has a CX. So like me, I don't use the apps on the TV because I have a standalone box to do it. I have an Apple TV that gives me everything and all the video formats I need. And that's another topic that we're gonna talk about: format, resolution, and format. So I feel like the whole UI systems are pretty laggy
and
choppy. I just don't like to use the apps on the TV. Some people do. So some people that don't care, it works for them. For me, it doesn't. I have an eye for details. I want the best resolution, the best quality, the best sound, the best everything. So I'd rather have a standalone box, a media box.
I kind of feel like they try to push too much. They're trying to make the TV a computer when it's not.
Yeah.
It should stick to its main function. Because, like you said, you're taking it back to Pentium D. Like with TV, trying to run a web browser or run an app on a TV, it's like so slow, choppy. But like like I said, they're taking the main. They're trying to do this all in one thing, and when they do this all in one thing, you lose in quality.
Right, and we don't want that. I want the best experience possible. So that's why I have Apple TV. Some people might get a Fire Stick. Some people might get the NVIDIA Shield. And they all have the same purpose, to give you the best experience outside of using the TV UI. So now when it comes to those boxes, now we come to resolution. So now the question is, does resolution matter to everyone? I think it does.
So, like, when we go back to Black Friday, when you see, the 4K 75-inch for $599, is that a good deal?
It depends. Now, it depends. We talk about resolution, now, is the TV capable of handling those other formats, those other resolution? You have your SDR, which is 480p. That's the 480p was the standard that they used in the CRT television all the way until 2000 something, until when the first LED came out. And then now you have 720p, 1080p, and then which is the newest resolution now is 4K. So those are all the video resolution sizes. So now the bigger the screen, the more resolution you need, the more pixels you need to reproduce that high quality footage.
I was so jealous of Fiction when we first met, when we were online and we were playing Battlefield. And I told him I had a Westinghouse 720p, and then I was playing Skyrim on a 1080p. What'd you have? A 1080p something, right?
I think they got a Samsung DLP. I believe back then. Yeah.
Yes. And I was just like, I was like, this guy must be rich in California. I was like, DLP.
DLP.
DLP, and it was a 1080p progressive scan, whatever it is. It was a badass TV back then.
I might have had that shit on energy saving mode for the whole run of the career of the TV, bro. Not even know.
Well, if anything, you prolonged the life of it.
Yeah,
maybe. And now that I think of it, that shit gave me like 8, 9, 10 years, bro.
Nice.
So Dre,
Never burned out.
Tell them the energy saver joke so they could know what the hell we're talking about.
So we're Triple and I were into calibration now, and we started off when you do your basic calibration. We start off with the regular basics, which is you go into your settings, your color, your saturation, your brightness, your contrast. You go into the regular menu and tweak it. So we were never satisfied. And then I ended up buying the HD Basics disc. Then you also have the THX app, and you have Disney Wow disc. So you have all these different discs to help you achieve the best quality.
This shit doesn't work, bro. Like I was like totally.
Yeah, and we were never satisfied. We were never satisfied.
Yeah, I was like, yo, it doesn't look. I was like, doesn't look right. It doesn't look right. It's like it kind of looks. And then all we did was one simple thing.
And there's like nothing ever changed. It still looked the same. Why it still looks crappy? So we started doing our research, and then we decided to get our TVs calibrated. And then when we started calling them, it's like a month-long wait. And then when it told us the price, I'm like, yeah. I'm good. I know how to do this stuff. I could do it myself. So I started doing my research, and we ended up investing into our own equipment. So now I have the Kalman software. I have color space. I have a spectrometer, colorimeter, and that's how the whole calibration thing started. I started working on my TVs. I started working on Triple TVs. And then when I went to LA, I had a podcast convention in LA, and I told Fiction, when I'm out there, I'll bring my stuff. And he thought I was going to come in and just mess around with the settings.
Yeah, I didn't know this motherfucker brought like a whole case worth of shit. I'm like, yo, my man, I felt bad, bro. I had this guy looking around. Looked like a gun case and shit with some ARs. And yeah, I'm like, what is that? What is this? He started fucking clamping shit onto the screen and busted out the little Raspberry Pi. I was not aware it was such a long process, but it was worth it. It looked awesome, man. Looks great.
It's great, right? And you notice it. And then
absolutely. And
the first thing he said was, bro, I've been watching TV in eco mode this whole time.
Because that's the first change we have to make. The first change,
and turn off the eco mode. Turn off everything that's eco mode, because then it gives you the worst quality possible.
It gives you the worst quality picture. Yeah. So that's why everybody that gets a new TV is like, hey, the first thing we tell them is, hey, turn off that energy saver mode.
I was saving $14 a year in energy though.
For a bad quality
picture.
For
bad quality. I didn't know. I don't mind paying extra.
But a kill death ratio of kill death, you can't see the energy because you had energy saver mode on.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So now going back to the other question, does resolution matter? It does, because now you have different resolutions now. You have, and also different formats. Now you have HDR, which is high dynamic range. Then you have your HDR 10 Plus, which is a variation of Samsung's version of Dolby Vision format. So a lot of TVs are included. When you buy a TV, those are included into your formats now. You have your regular standard definition range, high definition range, and Dolby Vision, except for Samsung. Samsung, it does HDR 10 Plus, which is supposed to be equivalent to Dolby Vision. When you have lesser brands like Hisense includes all the formats: SDR, HDR, Dolby Vision, HDR 10, HDR 10 Plus. So a lot of TVs are including it more into it. Sony does the same thing. Sony does HDR, SDR, and Dolby Vision. So no, those are the different formats now. So when we talk about SDR, those are your regular standard ranges. So I have a little diagram here that I'm gonna show you guys. Let me see, window. Here we go. This is the one. You guys see it clear? Mm-hmm. All right. So now when we talk about standard definition range, this is where all your standard definition format lives. 480, 720, 1080p, 4K, everything lives here. This is all the color range. And this spectrum here, this chart here is called the CIE chart. And this is what everything we see here is basically based on a prism. You got your red, green, and blue colors. And then you also have your primaries, your secondaries you have cyan, magenta, and yellow. And in between here is where you have and we go back to the other chart. This is where D65 is. This is what the white point that you calibrate to. And this is what it mimics of daylight conditions. So in between here is your color spectrum. If white, leading all the way to black, all the way across to here, to this side. So everything else lives here. So this chart is what the human eye can see. So now 720, you have your regular Rec 709, which is your standard definition. This is where it lives. Now, when you go to HDR, now you have Rec 2020. This is the purple triangle here. So now you're seeing more color volume and more expansion of color from the human eye. A lot of the HDR content and Dolby Vision is based on Rec 2020. So this is what we see now, and this is what we're used to now. So now between these two formats, this is what you get: more volume and more color. And so besides the X and Y axis, you also have your Z axis, which includes luminance level and hue and saturation. So it's like, if you turn it sideways, it looked like a Christmas tree. For all your different levels and gradients, leading all the way to black. So this is what we use to calibrate, and we try to calibrate the standards.
When I first saw a calibrated TV, when you calibrated my TV to the untrained eye, I've noticed everything is really bright standard-wise, so it felt dull at first, right? But then you explained to me that it was kind of replicating more of the real-life light settings, right? So it took me a while for my eyes to adjust. But then when I saw like a horror movie for the first time on a calibrated TV, you can really tell the dark aspects, the night scenes. It's where it kind of shines. But yeah, it was kind of strange in the beginning.
Yeah, and then that's
my eyes adjusted. I realized bright isn't always better per se.
No,
right?
It's not. No, because bright pretty much when you over brighten your TV, you're shortening the lifespan of the TV, and you want to keep it. You want your TV to last. And same thing I told you, and I tell everybody else. When you look at colors, think of it as your eyes to the world. Everything is dull. When you calibrate it, yes, you get a dull look. It's supposed to mimic real life conditions. It's like the window to the world. So you have to give it like a week or two to adjust, for your eyes to adjust, because you've been trained to see the wrong color your whole life, especially on eco mode, bro.
On eco mode doesn't help.
Right, so it doesn't help being on eco mode. So then once you calibrate it, I tell people, give it like a week or two. And then if you don't like it, you could just reset it back to factory, and then you off to eco mode you go.
Keep it pushing.
And I do Triples TV all the time. He's like, yo, Dre, you got to come over, man. I don't think the colors are right.
Well, I tell him that just because that's my excuse when I'm losing an Xbox and I'm playing Call of Duty.
I can't see. I can't see the rose skin in the corner. She's hiding in the closet, Rose.
So now we have our television. Another important thing, since we game a lot, another important factor that we need for our gaming is some of the stuff that TV comes with. So our TVs that we have, the premium brands, they all come with auto low latency mode, low input lag. They have the game mode, which is some of your features you have on the TV, which is ALM. It enables your TV to automatically switch to a specific game mode when it detects gameplay. So when you plug in your Xbox or your PlayStation, when you plug in your TV, if you have a newer television, the TV will detect that it's in game mode, and it'll pretty much turn off all the features you don't need. And so that way you can have a better gaming experience. So some of these features are high hertz. A lot of games, some of the newer games, they're running on 60 hertz, 120 hertz, 144 hertz, so 240 hertz. But some of the regular TVs only do up to 120. Unless you have a gaming monitor, you could do 240 hertz. You have input lag. So the new TVs have a low input lag. The input lag is how long the TV or monitor reacts to your command of your buttons when you're inputting, such as when you press the button on your controller, is that delay from keyboard controller to the TV. So you want a faster reaction time. And then you have VRR, which is your variable refresh rate. The VRR is a technology that allows your monitor or TV to dynamically adjust its refresh rate based on the frame rate of the content you are viewing or the game you're viewing. And then you also have other options, which is G-Sync and AMD FreeSync. With those two technologies, it pretty much helps your monitor refresh rate with the frame rates of your computer systems.
My other question is, so does these things make you a better gamer? If you buy a pair of Jordans, you'll jump faster, run, and shoot 3-pointers like Steph Curry? Probably not.
It should at least help you an advantage.
You think so? So if I get like the most expensive, fastest VRR, G-Sync, everything, do you think I'm gonna be able to beat Fiction finally or no?
I don't know.
No,
I don't know. He's over here laughing.
I think we're just getting older. Our reflexes.
Our reflex is not the same anymore. Yeah.
You have to getting teabagged. I'd be getting teabagged by 12-year-olds on the daily basis. I got the Elite controller and everything.
I play Apex Legends on mobile. I'm a top G on mobile. But if I play on the Xbox, it doesn't work. It doesn't translate. My skills don't translate on mobile to Xbox.
Let me ask you this straight. Gaming monitors, does that give you an advantage over a TV? Or at this point, the TVs have caught up to the gaming monitors?
The gaming monitor, that's a good question. Because the gaming monitors, they're like the top OGs of gaming. They're the top contenders. They've been in the game for a while. Because now, when it comes to computer monitors, they have the advantage because now they're just strictly doing just these features without the television. You don't need HDR. You don't need Adobe Vision.
Extra. Okay.
Yeah, you don't need all the extras. They just focusing on your refresh rate and your input lag. And some of these monitors, they have like almost 0.0, almost like non-existent input lags. So there's like great response time.
So, but the thing about it is that you could use it for both, right? Or would you get a good movie quality, a movie picture from a gaming monitor versus, and vice versa, or no?
I think you can, but like I said, some people get gaming monitors. Like me personally, if I had a computer, a PC, I would get a LG C2 for 42-inch for gaming.
What you could do.
For both. Do for both. If I'm going to use it for both. But I do have a gaming monitor. I have a Samsung 275 from like 2018 that I use for the kids' PC, and that has like zero input lag.
And so, do you think if you play Apex Legends on that, you'll win or no?
I doubt it. I'm not good with the keyboard and mouse, bro. Like, I'm strictly controller. To me, it's like these 12-year-olds, to them, they're born with it. Like me, it's like a second language, bro. I'm like, how do you do this again? It's like learning how to type QWERTY. Or ASDF.
Oh, man. What do you tell them, the average consumer? Like, what do you recommend to them?
In terms of gaming monitor?
Yeah.
Gaming monitor, I would recommend. Well, you got different brands. It's all about preference because now you have. Back then, you had LCDs and LEDs, which was for pretty much the standard across the board for gaming monitors, and now you have OLEDs in the mix. So now you have LG that's creating the OLEDs monitors, and you have Samsung creating gaming monitors. But then you also have BenQ, Asus, ROG, Swift. So these are some of the top contenders in these. You have also Dell is what, Alienware now? Alienware?
Yeah. You also have the new category, matted or glossy.
Nah, you need straight up matte, bro. You don't need glossy for gaming.
Just that's the new thing right now. They have glossy. Well, your C2 is a glossy monitor. It would be if you use it for the PCs. It will be glossy.
It'll be glossy.
Yeah. So I guess Apple paved the way for the glossy monitor.
Make it look nice and pretty.
Yeah, and it does work. And now these other companies, I got this Wish monitor coming from a company called Eve Spectrum. That still has. I ordered it back in May, and it still hasn't been here yet since. And now their new glossy monitors. Like I got it because I wanted to get a glossy monitor for my computer, and they're having trouble with making these monitors in China or wherever it's coming from.
They're still mining the chips for you.
Still mining the chips, but the new phase of gaming is actually you're going to see a lot of them come out. It's going to be glossy finish,
right? And they also have the formats because now when these developers are creating games. They're creating them in SDR and HDR format. So a lot of the new monitors come with HDR. And also you can increase the resolution. They also have mods where you could run, instead of running 1080p, you can run 4K HDR, make it more of the hertz. You could go to 240 hertz instead of 120, instead of running 144. It's crazy how with PCs you could do all that.
I wonder how much, so with the hertz, the 240 hertz, how much do you lose on the resolution with the quality? So that's the that's the one thing that we should definitely touch topic on with the gaming monitor, and because the most people don't know this part of the buying a TV or buying a monitor, the refresh rate. People see 4K, they jump on 4K. People see and they don't like. Then they come home and they're like, "Why does it still look trashy or look low budget?"
Right, because they probably play in eco mode, and then
mode for the win.
Yeah, because also when you think of refresh rate or hertz, it's pretty much how many times per second the display is able to draw a new. So, for example, if your display has a refresh rate of 144, it's refreshing the image 144 times per second. So now if you have 240, it's just doing it at 240 per second. Right. So that little movement from point A to point B, if somebody's, and people will notice it because there's a lot of gamers when a perfect example would be when you play Street Fighter. People count frames when you do the moves. Back then we were playing 24 frames per second, 30 frames per second.
Fighting game community.
They're really big on the frames. Yeah, they're really big on the on reading frames, bro.
So explain that to them.
So remember if your TV has 24 frames per second, right? 24 FPS. It's gonna refresh 24 images in 1 second. So these guys know, because basically, if you look at an image, it'll show you 24 images and each step where the character is moving. So these guys were training to read frames because certain frames tell you this guy's hand will probably be down here now, so they'll know. So these guys in the Street Fighter community, in the fighting community, they know because that's what they do. They read frames. So now if you have a faster frame rate, I don't know how that helped them, but these guys are trained to do that. They train themselves to read frames and to execute all these combos. And basically, and beat you with the flawless victory.
So they know your move before
you even know it. Exactly. They'll look at your movement. They'll look at how you position. And they'll count the frames. It's crazy. I've never was into it. I've always tried to learn that. Like one of my buddies was into that.
But also with the movies, with the frames per second, 120 frames per second, 120 hertz, 240 hertz, 240 frames per. How does that affect the movies? Like a Michael Bay film. We just
it depends. It'll depend because everything is all motion. A lot of the TVs come with the motion lag, and what they do is they'll decrease the brightness so that way motion can move faster. So you can see motion. But a lot of the motion processing is not great on a lot of TVs because like you see a car zoom by, I don't want to see it clear. But then now when you do 60 frames per second on most TVs, that's what just gives it the soap opera effect. I don't want every show to give me the soap opera effect. It gives it that realism like you're watching sci-fi. I don't want that. To me, I want to watch it with what the creator's intent was. I want to watch it natural. A lot of the TVs have different modes for the frame rate. I like to go natural or turn it off. When I watch sci-fi, I like to go smooth. I want to look like I want to see it real. See its realism. So what about you? You leave your motion on when you watch TV?
You know, first, like when it first came out, I was like dumbfounded by it. I was like, this is crazy. Like I felt like I was actually there. And then like I tried to do it while watching a movie and it just didn't feel right. So
it looks weird. It looks weird when you're watching at 60 frames.
Yeah, like the movement is just very. It's fluid, but it's just like the way the camera and the character is not in sync together or something like that. That's like my way of explaining that promotion. And if you look at it long enough, it probably could make you nauseous.
Right. Some people don't like that effect. Like me personally, I don't like it. I turn it off. But then when I do watch like sci-fi movie, like when I watch Halo, when the show came out, I turned it on, I put it on smooth, and it looks good. Like I said, anything that looks sci-fi or like you watch any animal shows, Animal Planet stuff. Yeah, you see a cheetah running.
Yeah.
You know, which turns into they got your judder effect. That's what it's called, judder. Like me, I'd rather keep it at 24 or 30 or whatever the movie allows for. Because the Apple TV, you have that option to match frame rate and match TV, to match the frame rate and match the format. You turn it on, so you want to watch it as the creator intended to you to watch it. And this what comes now. This comes down to what is calibration. So now this is a topic that I know extensively because Triple and I we do it. So what is calibration? Calibration is adjusting a TV setting beyond what's possible with just your eye and the basic user controls. It requires specialized equipment and software to objectively measure a TV's image. So that's the definition of calibration. So now for the service, this service is usually performed by a professional or hobbyist, which is us /enthusiast with gear. Like me, I created my own Raspberry Pi, which is pretty much true 10-bit quality, which give me the best quality to shoot the patterns on the TV. It should improve your TV, how it looks, but exactly how much depends on how accurate its initial settings were beforehand. And then the cost, it can range from $200 to $700. It varies on how many inputs you need done. And then we have a certain standard that you have out there now, which is one of the main standard that is used in Hollywood and across the video game community. Is called the ISF, which is Image Science Foundation, founded in 1994 by Joe Silver. He is the founder and current president of the foundation. He pretty much created the standard that Hollywood uses and is used to reference monitors and TVs to the highest quality. So who's it for? This is for those who like expensive TVs. If you have an expensive TV, I would suggest getting it calibrated. Anything under $750, I wouldn't calibrate it. But I would do it for practice.
I think the who's it for is also for the
AV world. Those
and the people like
audiophiles, videophile guys.
That was developed for home theater guys.
I think it's also for you to get the most bang for your buck from your TV. It makes no sense to buy a Rolls Royce if you're not getting the.
You gonna put the cheap gas in it.
Put some regular.
Yeah, you gotta go hard. You gotta go hard with the right. If you're gonna go hard, you go all out. Go all out, and you're gonna enjoy the outcome when it's done.
Right, and what we talked about earlier, like when you adjust settings, you're just not adjusting your color, your tint, your brightness, your contrast. You're going in depth. You're adjusting your gamma curve, the color temperature of the TV, the white balance, because that's the most important thing first is the white balance. And you have your bias controls, those are located in the service menu, or you could use them in your regular mode with your 2-point white balance or your 10 or 22-point white balance section. You also have your contrast, your brightness, your color tuning, which is you could adjust your colors, not just your regular left to right, red and green. What is it? Red and green on your color tint, right? Is it red and green? You go into the color section, right? You go into the color section, and then in there you have your red, green, or your primary colors, or secondary colors, and you pretty much adjust those to meet the standard. And then you also have your HDR tone mapping. And then, like I said, before we used HD Basics disc, the Disney Wow disc, and the THX app, but now we do this in depth now. And I have a perfect example. So I will show you a Fiction's TV, his file, when we calibrated his TV. And then I will show you when I did my buddy's last week, his Samsung TV. I did his, let me see. Where is it? All right, let me see. All right, so this is my buddy's TV here. This one is Samsung TV. So the top version is the pre-calibration and post-calibration. So the bottom one, the top end, it's the Samsung TVs is kind of hard to calibrate because they have the local dimming, which is will activate. If it's a black screen, it'll kind of give it a little bit of ambient light in the background to show it. So it's kind of hard to do the top end. But we got pretty much everything down to the wire all the way up to 70% brightness. So if you look at the top, everything is your red, green, and blues are off. And this is what he was watching TV before. This was almost in eco mode. And then after we were done, we got his errors down to 2.5. So anything under 3%, it's undistinguishable to the eye. Anything above 3, you'll see the colors are off. And this is another one, other SDR format. See, this is his night mode. And we pretty much got it spot on in the bottom. So he got 1.2 error. And this is the HDR format. This is HDR. Look how he's viewing HDR, bro. Look at all this. And then sometimes you don't want to, it's too bright. The TV's too bright. You don't want it too bright. And this is the next one. See, look at this one. This was like right on the money. Look at that, right on the money. And this is the Samsung TV. So it was as close as it'll get. I think this was like Q90T. So now we're going to do Fiction's TV. This is his report that we did. And the top, it was not bad. It still had a little bit of errors on certain colors here. But then we were done. This is on regular standard mode. We got it done. Look at that. We got it right into where we need it to be. It has an error of 0.3. Way beyond what the eye can see. So this is in his bright mode, same thing. We got his brightness correct. You see all the errors here. Then we got the bottom chart, the RGB balance. We got it down to 0.6. Then we got his game mode also, 0.6. This is HDR, his cinema mode. Look at that, right on the money. They got a 0.8. This is him watching Ecomo, bro. Let's see. Then there's HDR game mode and Dolby Vision. This is the whole different format of verifying this. So that's his report right there. So it does matter. So when we do calibrate, it does make a difference. So what do you think, Triple? Are you satisfied with your TV?
At first, I'm not gonna lie, it didn't catch me. It didn't catch me until, like Fiction said, I actually, not even with the game, but I actually popped in the Maze Runner 4K on, not streamed, the actual, I downloaded it. I
think I remember you had an uncompressed file.
Uncompressed raw
file. Yeah.
And it was just amazing quality. Amazing. I couldn't imagine how powerful the TV was after it was calibrated. And that's when I really knew, like, oh shit, this does make a difference. But then my girlfriend doesn't know nothing. Yeah, she can't tell.
Like you said, women don't know nothing.
She don't see what the big deal is.
Don't see what the big deal is, yeah.
For us men, we do.
It's definitely a guy thing.
But it is worth it, though. In the end, it's worth it. I feel like it is.
It's one of those situations. I gotta call my wife and see what she thinks, and then you're like, you know what? I'm gonna do it anyway.
Yo, I want to spend $700 on this calibration. What does it do? It's gonna make it look better.
It's gonna make it look better. You
throw on Game of Thrones. See, like,
oh, yeah.
I don't see nothing different. What a waste of $700.
This is when you take out the room. Be like, go sit over there.
Go sit over there. Let me enjoy.
Go watch your Hisense in the room.
Yeah. Part of the story is that if you put on a show from like 10 years, 20 years ago, you're not gonna get the full enjoyment of it.
What, like old content?
Yeah, if you put old content.
Well, you put old content, you that's regular standard definition content. It won't switch over to HDR, but you can still enhance like the grainy look from it. It will enhance it on the newer models, on the newer TV. But you got to turn on all the graininess, or what else? Smoothness. There's a whole bunch of different features on the TV that allow you to watch your content, the old stuff on the TV especially. So I think we pretty much touched base on all this stuff. Hey guys, thanks for listening and watching. Hopefully you guys learned something from us today. And next week we'll probably be talking about headphones or some other topic. We'll see what we got. And don't forget to follow, like, and share with us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Twitter. We're all up there.
This is Tech Aficionados, and we're out.
We're out. This is your boy Dre. We got Fix and you got Triple.
We out.
Later, guys.
Peace.